that Wales has already undertaken a review of the whole curriculum with teachers, and there's no reason why Natalie Zahawi couldn't have proposed that in the white paper. He could have done it with the profession. He could have used that review to decolonise the curriculum and to take forward other pressing concerns. For example, conference, we also have, all of us, a big commitment to trying to support girls and the continuing barriers they face in accessing different subjects, the sexist, racist stereotypes, the mental health pressures they face on and offline. The white paper from Natalie Zahawi does not deal with these issues, but our union continues to campaign on sexual harassment and sexism in schools, and we'll hold a major one-day event in May to bring together members who are organising and campaigning against sexual harassment in the school setting. Conference, the white paper we needed that Natalie Zahawi should have brought forward would have proposed reform as well of our cricket assessment system and our broken accountability system. But the biggest hole in the white paper, the elephant in the room that ministers are afraid to look at, is that we simply do not have enough teachers. No education system can exceed the quality of its teachers, but our schools are hemorrhaging teachers. And it's not just leavers who are increasing the teacher shortage problem. Applications for teacher training this year are in freefall, even below the levels of 2019. Not only in the traditional shortage subjects, but also in others which have traditionally recruited more strongly, like English. Conference, in our State of Education survey, the Union survey, now in its 4th year, we asked our members how they felt about their working lives. Are they getting good work? Is their workload manageable? Do they intend to stay working in education? Those results from that survey are shocking, and the public need to know the results. MPs of all parties need to know them to understand them. 44% of our members tell us they will no longer be working in education in 5 years' time. And the reason they intend to leave is simple, and you all know it. It's excessive and intensive workload. This is the key issue the white paper should have addressed through many mechanisms. 41% of our members in that survey say that they spend more than 80% of their working lives feeling stressed. That's a shocking statistic, but our conference delegates aren't shocked, because you see every day the damage done to our members by the incessant, excessive demands made on them, demands which have only intensified throughout the pandemic. 22% of those members tell us they'll no longer be working in education in 2 years' time. This is the most serious problem our schools are facing. It is the most serious problem our children are facing. There are not enough teachers entering the profession, and those that do leave far too early, burned out by overwork, exhausted by intense and unremitting stress. So what does Natalie Zahawi's white paper say about excessive workload? What answers does it present to this problem?
So conference, the white paper says that excessive workload, where it still exists,
Where it still exists,
will be solved with a staff wellbeing charter. Well, that's okay then, isn't it? Nothing to see here. What an insult. Which then promises that all schools will be inspected by Bousted by 2025 in that accelerated inspection programme, creating mountains of unnecessary workload for our members. And all this on top of the pressures already created by a government which wants us to leave at COVID summer. Finished. A government which is putting GCSE and A-level pupils this year through harder GCSEs and A-levels with higher grade boundaries, and with return to SATs in primary schools. A government which has reimposed the reintroduction this year of school league tables, as though any league table will tell you anything about the educational standards of schools. Now, when Ken and I talk to top civil servants and to government ministers about the pressure on schools, about the truth that the pandemic is still raging in schools, about the unbelievable stress and pressure put on school staff, about their exhaustion, well, it's like talking to a brick wall. Safe in the DFE offices of sanctuary buildings, they tell us that they understand. They're sympathetic, but their hands are tied and they can do nothing. Conference, is it any wonder why teachers and leaders walk away in such huge numbers from the profession they love? Is it any wonder why support staff feel so exploited and undervalued? Conference, you know, every teacher knows that the schools where excessive workload does not exist are as rare as hen's teeth, or as rare as government ministers' honesty. Teacher exhaustion and stress are endemic across schools and throughout the profession. The White Paper's proposed solution of a staff wellbeing charter to tackle excessive workload, where it still exists, is an insult to the profession because it is completely inadequate to the scale of the problem and will do little, if anything, to address the stress and burnout created in education workers through a combination of a toxic accountability system intensified by the pressures of working in schools during the COVID pandemic. So, if the government is reluctant to admit the facts on teacher workload, let's look elsewhere, shall we? Let's not be little England about this. Let's go international. Every 5 years, the OECD conducts its Teaching and Learning International Survey, TALIS. 2018 was the biggest survey yet with 48 countries taking part, including China, Japan, the US, Singapore, South Africa, and New Zealand. Unfortunately, only England entered TALIS in 2018, so there's no results for Wales and Northern Ireland. But we think, Kevin and I, that there would not be much difference between the nations. TALIS tells us that teachers in England come second only to Singapore in the international league tables, where the monitoring of their work is measured. They undergo more lesson observations, more work scrutiny, and more pressure to ensure their pupils do well in public exams than in any other country apart from Singapore. And England is third from the bottom of the OECD league table, the teachers reporting that their schools have a collaborative culture characterised by mutual support.
Third from the bottom for mutual support.
Sorry, it's fourth actually.
Fourth.
We've changed that. So, it's fourth from the bottom that they work in schools characterised by mutual support. And we want to ask, why do you think this is?
This TALIS survey reveals much else. Teachers in England feel they're being inspected all the time. The shadow of Bousted and Bousted looms over every working day as leaders under huge pressure themselves find new and inventive ways to monitor their teachers. But whilst teachers in England are nearly at the top of the monitoring league tables, TALIS also shows us evidence that school leaders in England come near the bottom of the international league tables for time spent supporting teachers, working with them to develop teaching and learning approaches. Conference, the blame is not with our school leaders. In our country, the whole balance between monitoring and support is completely out of kilter. The balance has swung far too far. And the result of all this monitoring, teachers in England report double the high level of stress felt by Teachers International. Shamefully, England comes second in the international league table for teacher stress on another measure, which we go. I think we've left it. Oh, we must stop that. Is that right, Andrew? Even is top of the stress league. Yay! You can see the green level, the average. The green is the average in the OECD. The red is England, top of that stress league table. And you know this, one of the causes of stress is lack of control of your working life. and England comes third from the bottom in the league table for the amount of control teachers feel they have over their curriculum. At the top of stress, at the bottom of control, not feeling the schools are collaborative, Nadia Zahawi needs to concentrate on changes which address this reality, this international reality, not one more structural reform that will actually make all of those pressures worse. And it is not just the international comparisons which are so damning. There is a survey, the British Skills and Employment Survey, which collects data from working adults in England, Wales and Scotland roughly every 5 years. It last reported before the pandemic. So instead of comparing teachers in England with teachers in other countries, it compares teachers here with other professions in this country. This is England and Wales data. There are 2 indications of job quality that they look at in that survey. They look at work intensity, which they define as the rate of physical and mental input into work tasks, and they look at skills of discretion, which includes the influence you have over the decisions about the tasks you do, the work you do, how those tasks are performed, and the quality standards to which you work. And conference, the results from this survey are also alarming. They show that on the first measure, work intensity, this has soared for teachers in England and Wales, so that 85% of teachers report that they come home from work exhausted every single day. It's your lived reality, but it is twice as much as in any other profession in this country before the pandemic. That is, I'm sure it was tough, but no, it was tough in the NHS during the pandemic, but twice as much as any other profession. That's what Nadia Zahawi needs to address. Francis Green works at the UCL, done research on this survey, the SES survey, concludes no other large occupation has shown anything like this degree of work intensification. And that alarming increase in work intensification on the first measure has been happening at the same time as an equally alarming decrease in the second measure. The choice given to teachers about how they work, the ability to participate in decision-making in schools, only 20% of teachers report that they do have any significant input to decisions in their schools. That finding echoes the Talis survey, where England comes 46th out of 48 countries for teacher involvement in management decisions in their school. They told us academies is about autonomy, but it's nothing like autonomy for any of our members. We're not just talking here about questions of school policy. We are talking about the fundamental right of highly skilled professionals to make their own judgments about what they teach, how the pupils in front of them can best learn, and it's been stolen from teachers in England.